Hi everybody. This is the first YouTube video I made in a while. Um and I'm looking forward to, even though that's future, to making videos on spirituality, meditation, and other things. I'm doing a little speed walk here inside because it's very cold outside. And basically I'm a recovering schizophrenic. My official diagnoses, I'm on disability, and my official diagnoses, I think, according to the state, are schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder, and then objectional defiance disorder, which is basically like you get really angry at authority and stuff like that. And so I had quite a few things to work on, to become higher vibe, or however you want to describe it. And um, a lot of spiritual teachers, I don't want to call myself a spiritual teacher, at least not yet. I'm, I'm just starting my YouTube channel for now. And but a lot of spiritual teachers really struggled with stuff before they became more spiritual, found enlightenment, or whatever they attained. Um, to even use the word achieve implies future, implies ego, implies goals, implies, um, basically something that your ego wants to cling to instead of just enjoying the present moment, and not being identified with something or someone. I have different ways of seeing things that I'm just going to. I think there's tape on my camera. I should probably take that off. I'll worry about that later and see how this looks. Anyways, there's certain. So I am of the opinion that positive emotions are actually pseudo pleasures, and that they're actually a form of pain. Um, being bipolar, or having bipolar disorder, I would get extremely excited, and it would last for days. And I think the longest I ever went was 3 days being unable to sleep. And that's a really horrible situation. And a lot of people say they really like bipolar disorder. They like the mania, they like the highs of bipolar disorder. And for me, I used to. I really did, or I thought that I did. And then I got into spirituality. Before my mental illness got really, well, it was really bad, but before I got like to where I was completely dysfunctional and delusional and everything. And I um I I started getting spirituality, doing inner body awareness, doing a lot of work. Like presence, I feel like is not as effective as focusing on your body internally, focusing on your heart, focusing wherever, general areas, etc. Focusing on your brain, focusing on parts of your body, and because that's where your emotions lie, and focusing on your emotions is like one of the highest spiritual things that you can do. And so basically, I started doing this. I called it focus training, and I would go through and focus on every part of my body and work through and go all the way down to my knees. I wouldn't do it asymmetric, or like I wouldn't do like I would just do it down in a straight line, and I would go all the way down to my knees, and I would do this every day for about an hour, and I would go until my focus was completely exhausted and I could not do any more. And boy, did that wake me up. But then my schizophrenia basically brought me back to sleep and made it so that I had to compulsively think nonstop for almost 5 years straight. It was horrible. It's been 4 years and 10 months since my mental illness got so bad that I couldn't even practice spirituality. But I'm getting back to where I can be spiritual again, and I really want to make a YouTube channel and, you know, basically just, I guess, provide whatever I know to as many people. I just want to reach as many people. I just want to get as many people into spirituality as possible. And then there's also the selfish component of I do want YouTube views and clicks and all that stuff. I mean, why like be dishonest about it? That stuff it's an ego pursuit, but I feel like pursuing ego is good for you because it gets it out of your system. I'm not this type of person who thinks that you can, like, other than like seriously hurting yourself, I don't think that you can do wrong when it comes to spirituality. You can do not optimal, like you know, optimal, who knows what that is? It's probably, you know, awareness, inner body awareness, being in the body, inhabiting the body. These are ideas that I got from Eckhart Tolle. And then I like focus. So attention, alertness. These are all different. Awareness, alertness, attention, focus, noticing. These are all different. And focus is my favorite. I think that each of them is a muscle that you can increase and grow, and each one comes more so from a different part of the body. I call them nodes. There's an awareness node, there's a focus node, there's a presence node. It's the part of your body that you use to try to become present in the moment. It's right here. You go, and you try to become present in the moment, and it's right behind the cheeks. And so I first noticed about 5 or 6 years ago, probably 5.5 years ago, or maybe less, 5 to 5.5 years ago. I noticed that when I was present, I was using a certain part of my body to become present. And then I started noticing that with awareness, there's a certain part of the body that has to do with awareness. And then there's other things. I started experimenting with different techniques, and I basically realized that there's different parts of the body that have to do, like, the muscle that you're using comes from a specific part of the body. In the same way that you use your arm to throw a baseball, you use this area primarily, not necessarily exclusively, but primarily to become present. And so anyways, but a lot of spiritual teachers had a lot to work through to get to the point that they got to. Just looking at the time here, I have 11.5 minutes left on my little speed walk here. A lot of spiritual teachers had a lot of dysfunction. Eckhart Tolle it's in the first paragraph of The Power of Now, the first book that was major. I think it's his first book ever. I read A New Earth as well. Well, I've audiobooked it. But anyways, I'm an artist, so I actually haven't drawn while listening to New Earth. Well, maybe I have, but I like to listen to audiobooks and do artwork at the same time. Or listen to spiritual teaching rather than do audio and draw at the same time, though. Even drawing I wasn't able to do because of my mental illness. But anyways, Eckhart Tolle, in the first paragraph of The Power Now, says that for the first 30 years of my life, I lived with continuous anxiety, interspersed with periods of suicidal depression. So he was anxious and depressed. He talks about another spiritual teacher who used his addiction as his spiritual teacher. So it is a spiritual teacher who was taught by his addiction, who had to deal with a heavy addiction to bring him into spirituality. I'm just going to check the camera. Okay, I only have like 30 seconds left before it's going to stop the video. Anyways, and I even had a pretty bad addiction myself. It was actually very severe to online video games, internet, and stuff like that. And of course, the whole world is extremely addicted to television and stuff like that. Anyways, this is my first video that I made in a while. Anyways, thanks for watching, and hope that you all have a very good day. And hopefully I can bring some good information. I'll just try to go with the flow and maybe, be a little bit spontaneous. But anyways, take it easy.